One Axios reporter got specific when he was asked who was running the Biden White House while Biden was in decline. Watch.
The people that were in charge were Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti, Bruce Reed, Anthony Bernal, the First Lady's chief of staff, the First Lady, and Annie Tomasini. Those were the people that saw him the most and that had the most control over what he was doing and his day-to-day.
Welcome back, Miranda Devine, joining me now on the show this Thursday morning. Miranda, you think there should be an investigation into who was running the government while Biden was in decline? I mean, this story's not going away, is it?
Good morning, Stuart. No, it isn't, and it shouldn't, because we can't ever let this happen again. But it will take a concerted effort from people with power inside the Trump administration to uncover that old wound that you can see Democrats saying every day. People like Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries are saying, move on, let's move forward. Yep. We don't want to look backwards. Well, of course they don't, because they're all culpable. And look, at least we now have names. We kind of knew them because these are the people closest to the president. But the First Lady, Jill Biden, I think, nothing will ever happen to her other than, I think, the sort of negative reputation that she is developing now as the person who encouraged her 81-year-old ailing husband, who now we know wasn't just having cognitive problems, but he also had advanced prostate cancer, sadly. And she encouraged him to run for re-election in 2024 at the age of 81.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Why did Biden run for a second term when everybody knew, you could see that his decline had started? I mean, who pushed him to do that? Some of the blame has to go to Biden himself, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, this all means that people are letting Joe Biden off the hook, and certainly history should not let him off the hook. I'm not calling for him to be, flung in jail, but he is the original sin maker, because his overwhelming ambition, his selfishness, his ruthlessness, his dishonesty, and his sort of bizarre ability to create these delusions around himself that trap sort of his family and his closest allies. And this book does go into some of that. They call it a theology of Biden.
Oh, the media is just now asking why the White House was not pressed about Biden's mental fitness. But we have to point out, at Fox, Peter Doocy was all over this for years. Watch this, Miranda.
President Biden is the oldest president in U.S. history. Why does White House staff treat him like a baby? How is President Biden ever going to convince the 3/4 of voters who are worried about his physical and mental health that he is okay, even though in Las Vegas he told a story about recently talking to a French president who died in 1996? Say that the Pentagon at some point picks up an incoming nuke. It's 11 p.m. Who do you call? The First Lady? Are you guys just not, since February, testing President Biden for Parkinson's or for dementia? Because if he gets a bad result, it's all over that day.
I think we made the point there, Miranda, but I think the point we should make is that the media has lost an enormous amount of its credibility here. Last word to you.
It sure has, if it hadn't already during the Russia hoax and the Hunter Biden laptop denial. But look, Peter Doocy was fantastic, and every day he would go into that White House press conference almost alone and ask those difficult questions. I also shout out to Stephen Nelson at the New York Post. But no matter what we did on this side of the fence, it was ignored by the rest of the news media. And you can see their silence in as Peter Doocy's asking the questions. And I guess all that mattered for Biden was that he had the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC and all the networks on his side, along with the denial. As long as they didn't say it happened, then, it didn't really matter what we said.
Miranda, it was great to have you back on the program. Do not be a stranger. We will see you again, I do hope. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Stuart.